Let's begin. This is our 30-minute Vinyasa practice. And as we pretty much always do, just come to a seated position to begin. And you can let your eyes close down. We'll just take a few breaths to become present and settled for our practice today. Just let the breath flow freely. And just stay aware of the breath flowing in your body. Just a couple more breaths. Perhaps one more. Let's begin our practice on our back. So come to your back on your mat and make sure that the back of the head is on the mat. And then bring the soles of the feet together and let your knees come apart into an inverted cobbler pose. You can bring both hands to the belly if you want, with one hand over the other. And just take about 3 breaths, feeling your navel rise and fall as you breathe in and out. Two more breaths like that. And one more. Now bring the soles of the feet to the mat, knees come about hip width apart, the knees are bent. So you're in a position for about what you would be if you were doing bridge pose or preparing to do bridge pose. We're not going to do bridge pose now though. We're going to reach the feet up to the sky, bring the hands down by your side. This is legs up the wall pose. Press the tailbone down towards the mat, reach up through the heels and maybe feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Now bend the knees. And then press into the palms and pull the knees back towards your head. If you want, you can straighten the legs and maybe bring the toes down on the floor behind you into plow pose. From there, come back to legs up the wall pose, letting your tailbone come down to the mat. The legs are straight. And now bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and lift the hips into a very gentle bridge pose, just a gentle back bend. Now bring the tailbone down to the mat. Reach the heels back up towards the sky. And then lift all the way up, and bring the heels down and fold forward over the extended legs. Let your head come down. On an inhale, rise back up, and then come back to legs up the wall pose. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and we're back to where we started in an inverted cobbler pose. Take 3 breaths, breathing in, and then letting the breath flow out, and again breathing in, and let the breath go. One last time, in, and then exhale. Now soles of the feet come to the mat. We're going to go through that all again. Straighten the legs, reach the heels to the sky, legs up the wall pose. Press through the heels until you feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Now bend the knees and lift your tailbone, pressing into the palms. If you want to straighten the legs, come into our pose with the feet pressing down on, or the toes rather, pressing down on the floor behind you. That's plow pose. Now come back to legs up the wall. And then bend the knees, soles of the feet come to the mat. Press into the feet, lift the hips, bridge pose. See if you can draw your shoulder blades a little bit closer together on the back. Press your heels into the mat and lift the hips just a bit higher into the back bend. And then release the tailbone to the mat. Reach the heels back up to the sky. See if you can keep the 90-degree angle between your upper and lower body as you hinge for or flip forward. Then let the heels float down. Reach the arms up and overhead and exhale, fold forward. Now inhale and rise back up. And as you exhale, come back down to your back and soles of the feet together into the position of inverted cobbler pose where we started. 3 breaths now. And 1 more breath. Let's go through that flow one more time. Soles of the feet come to the mat, then reach the legs up, or the feet rather, to the sky. Legs up the wall pose. Now plow if you want, or just bend the knees, bring the knees towards the head. Release back to legs up the wall pose. Bend the knees, soles of the feet come to the mat, bridge pose, lift the hips. Release the tailbone to the mat. Reach the feet way up to the sky again, legs up the wall pose. And then rise to staff pose, seated. Reach the arms high and exhale, fold forward over the extended legs. Let your head drop down. And then rise up. And now let's come to a kneeling posture. And let your hips drop to your heels if you can. So sitting on the heels. And I'm going to turn to face you. Now reach your arms up and overhead. Bring the palms together, interlace the fingers. Press the palms towards the sky and start to feel that stretch. For me, I feel it at the top of the shoulders, also in the armpits. Now bring the arms out to a T, releasing the hands. Reach the hands apart from one another. Take a big breath. As you exhale, take a twist to the left and bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee. The left hand is, mine is actually got a hold of my right foot. Now look over your left shoulder. Keep your spine long. Take a breath. And then release back to center and over to the other side. Just do the opposite. Look over the right shoulder now. Keep the spine long. And release back to center and over to the left side, second time. And back to center and over to the right side, second and last time. Back to center. Let the arms float up and overhead. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms up towards the sky. And then release the arms. Drop the right hand down. Reach the left hand up and over. Feel that nice stretch on the left side of the body. Check in with that left elbow. Make sure the elbow is over the head or the shoulder. And inhale, rise. The core engages as you come up and bring your left hand down. Reach your right hand up and over. And check in again with that right elbow. So if you have the right elbow forward, you're going to change the location of the stretch in the back. Inhale and rise. And for this stretch, what I'd like to do is feel that all along the left side body, all the way from the hip up through the armpit. If you bring the elbow forward, it'll move that stretch into more the middle of the back. So keep the elbow up. Inhale, rise. And left hand down, right hand reaching. And inhale, rise. We're going to do one more time on each side. Remember to engage your core as you come up. Last one, left hand down, reaching with the right hand. And then rise all the way back up. Reach up high. And as you exhale, bring your hands down in front into table pose. Press the hands into the mat. Establish yourself in table pose. Lift the shoulders up as you straighten your elbows. Now reach the left hand forward, the right hand or the right foot back into table extension pose. You can press through that right heel or the toes on the right foot. Either way works. Now bring elbow towards knee and round the spine and then reach back out. Take a breath. And again, elbow towards knee and then reach out. That's the second one. We're going to do 3. This is the last one on this side. Elbow towards knee and reach it out. And then bring the left hand down. Pick the right knee up and point the right knee off to the right. Then straighten the right leg. Toes on that right foot point to the right. Now rotate the toes so they point down. That right foot is pressing straight back, and then bring the right knee down so it meets the left knee. Now inhale to cow pose, dropping your belly, lift your chin a little higher, and then exhale into cat pose, pressing your hands into the mat, and letting your forehead come a little closer to your knees. Inhale to cow pose, and exhale to cat. And inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. One more time through. Inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. Now pause, press your hands into the mat, press the middle of the back up towards the sky just a little bit more. Now draw your navel up, and then return to table pose. Nice long spine. Now reach your right hand forward, left foot presses back. So the hand is about the same level as the shoulder, and the heel is about the same level as the hip on the left side. Now bring elbow towards knee and round, and then reach out. Take a breath. Elbow towards knee, reach out. Take a breath. And last one, elbow towards knee, and reach it out. And then bring the hand down. Pick the knee up. Knee is off to the left. Now straighten the left leg, press back through that left heel, and then rotate the foot so the toes point down, and then bring the left knee down to meet the right knee. We've come back to table pose. Now drop the belly and lift your chin, and exhale to cat, and inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. Just continue flowing through cow and cat. 3 more times. Keep it going twice more. And 1 more time through. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips. And let's find our very first downward facing dog in this practice. Press both heels down until you feel a lot of sensation in the back of the legs, and then start to pedal it out. So straighten the right leg, press the right heel down, left knee bends, and then to the other side. Straighten the left leg, press the left heel down, bend the right knee, and then over to the other side. Just continue pedaling that way. Notice how slowly I'm moving, so I can really begin to feel the sensation in the back of the legs. And 1 more time on each side now. And then begin to walk the feet forward towards the hands, eventually ending up in a standing forward fold at the front of the mat. Let your head get heavy there. Now bring the arms out to a T, a slight bend in the knees. Press into the bottom of the toes as you rise. Reach up high, and then exhale the hands and bring them to heart center. Inhale, reach back up, and swan dive now to a forward fold. Then come to a half lift, and exhale, let your head drop down. Keep your chin on your chest now. Draw your navel up as you rise so the spine is rounding deeply. Reach up high again, look up, and exhale the hands to heart center. Let's go through that one more time. Reach up, arms to a T, swan dive, forward fold, half lift. Then let your head get heavy, forward fold, bend the knees here if you need to. Now draw the navel up, keep your chin on your chest, rounding the spine as you rise, and reach up high, and let the hands come to heart center. Take a breath. Now the arms out to a T, swan dive, forward fold, come to a half lift. As you exhale, step your left foot back, right foot stays forward. So we've come to runner's lunge. Check in with that right knee, see if it's bent about 90 degrees. And then step the right foot back to meet the left foot in plank pose. Find your alignment in plank. Now bring the knees to the mat. Keep your hands right where they are. Press the hands into the mat. Press your tailbone back towards your heels. And then rise back up through table pose. Glide the hips forward and down. See if you can bring your knees off the mat as you come into an upward facing dog. And then from there, tuck your toes And lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Now bend the knees and take a hop or walk forward so the feet end up between the hands. Arms come out to a T. Reverse swan dive as you rise nice and slow. And then reach the arms high, exhaling to heart center. Inhale, reach back up. And swan dive again, forward fold. Half lift. This time leave the left foot forward, step the right foot back. Runner's lunge, left knee bends about 90 degrees, just like we did on the other side. And then step the left foot back to plank pose. Take a breath in plank. Now bring the knees to the mat. Chest and chin are going to follow as we come to cobra pose. Lift the heart up off the mat. And then release down. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and let your hips rise, downward facing dog. 3 breaths now in downward dog. See if you can feel the stretch all the way from the heels through the tailbone, and then from the tailbone through the fingertips. The whole back body. On an inhale, lift the left leg high. Find 3-legged dog, opening the hips to the left. Now level the hips and step the left foot forward so it comes between the hands. We're back to runner's lunge now. Bring your right knee to the mat, untuck the toes on the left foot, press into the left foot and rise, low crescent lunge. Press that left knee forward just a little bit more. For me, I'm feeling a lot of sensation in the top of my right leg and those hip flexor muscles, which are feeling pretty tight for me this morning. Now bring the arms out to a T. Take your twist. This would be to the left. Right elbow comes to the knee. Join the palms. Reach the left elbow high. The spine stays nice and long. Your gaze can be down or off to the left. You can even look up if you like. Keep the palms together. Press into the left foot as you come back to center. Take a breath. Then release the arms high. And then bring the hands down to the mat on either side of that left foot. Now tuck your toes, the right knee comes off the mat, and then step the left foot back into plank pose. Take a breath in plank, and then lift your hips, downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Remember to press your hands into the mat. On an inhale, right leg rises. Find 3-legged dog, opening the hips to the right. Your right knee bends here as the hips open to the right. Then level the hips and step the right foot all the way forward between the hands. You can pause there for a moment if you like and press back on the left heel. And then bring the left knee to the mat, untuck the toes on the left foot. Press into the right foot and rise. Low crescent lunge. Second side. Press the right knee forward a bit more. Arms come out to a T now. Take a breath. And then take your twist to the right, bringing the left elbow to the knee and joining the palms together. Take a breath. And one more. Bring it back to center now. Then reach the arms high. Exhale the hands down on either side of the right foot. Tuck the toes. The left knee comes off the mat. Now right foot steps back to plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And then flow through a vinyasa. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga into upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. 3 breaths now in downward dog. Again, feeling that stretch all along the back body, from the heels all the way to the fingertips. One more breath. Now bend the knees. Hop forward so the feet end up between the hands. Let your head drop down. Maybe let the head drop down even a little bit more, bending the knees if you need to. Now the arms come out to a T and rise slowly. Nice and slow coming up. So you feel that muscular engagement in the glutes and the hamstrings. Reach up high and bring your hands to heart center. Now, 3 breaths. You can let your eyes close down if you like. Two more breaths. Just let everything start to settle around you. And one more breath. Now bring the arms out to a T, come down halfway. Bring your feet so they're about hip width apart, and then bring the weight forward into the front of the feet a little bit. Now bend your right knee, bring the right hand down so it touches the mat or the floor right below your face. Reach the left hand up. This is standing twist. See if you can bend that right knee just a little bit more. Reach up a little bit through that left hand. And then come to the other side. Straighten the legs, then bend the left knee. Left hand down, right hand reaches. Notice the spine stays long. And other side. Right knee bends, right hand is down, left hand is up. Work on stacking the shoulders, one over the other. And last time, left knee bends, left hand is down, right hand is high. Now straighten both legs, bring both hands to the mat. And then bend your knees, reach the hands forward. Let your upper body rest on your thighs if you can. Reach your tailbone back. And bring the weight into the heels even more. Now release the hands down behind you and come to a seat. And once you're seated, pick the feet up so that the shins are parallel to the mat. Reach the hands forward toward the feet. This is a half boat pose. One more breath. Pretty vigorous practice this morning, hasn't it been? Arms out to a T, palms facing up. Straighten the legs if you want to. Now reach the arms high, palms touch, and out to a T. Inhale, palms touch, overhead, and out to a T. One more time. Reach up and exhale, and release the hands. Release the feet to the mat, and come to a cross-legged position. Take a moment to feel your sitting bones engaged with the mat. And then next time you inhale, feel the spine lengthen. Feel the shoulders come back and then drop them down. So you release any tension in the upper back. One more deep breath in. On an exhale, twist to the left. Bring the right hand to the left knee. The left hand comes down behind you. Draw your navel to the left. So you're twisting from your navel. Two more breaths here. And one more. And then back to center. Palms to the knees. Sit up nice and tall. Then let's twist to the other side. Left hand to right knee, right hand down behind you. You're looking over your right shoulder. Make sure the sitting bones are planted on the mat, and then draw your navel to the right. So find yourself twisting from the navel instead of the shoulders. Two more breaths. Stay with it. And one more. Good. Now come back to center. Bring the hands to the knees. Straighten the elbows if you can. And then relax the shoulders down again. Now keep the left hand long, or left arm long rather, and bring the left shoulder down towards the right knee. And you're probably going to feel a big stretch along the left side body down into the tailbone even. Now pull yourself around. Keep your spine long so that you're now aligning your upper body with your left thigh. And that right arm is straight. And then rise up from there and go back over to the right side. Left arm is straight. Pull yourself around. Now straighten the right arm. That right shoulder is about level with the left. And now rise back up. Take a breath. We're going to go back the other way now. Press into that right hand. Your upper body now comes down so it's aligned with that left thigh. Now pull yourself around. Keep your spine long. Left arm is straight and rise up. Just one more time. Pull yourself around now over to the right side. Straighten the left elbow and rise all the way back up. Take a breath. And let it go. Let's come back to, I'm coming back to a position where I'm facing the front of my mat. Bend the knees and bring the feet so they're about hip width apart. Soles of the feet touching the mat. Sit up nice and tall. Now flip the palms so they face up. Then bring your chin to your chest. Draw your navel back towards your spine and begin to roll all the way down to the back. Once you come to the back, walk the feet closer to your hips, and then pick the left foot up and bring the left ankle to the right knee. And we're going to do a supine figure 4 pose. Now pick the right foot up off the mat and interlace your fingers behind that right leg. Hug the right knee in as you press the left knee away, just using the power of your leg. So you don't need to push on that left knee with your hand. Hug it in, the right knee that is, pressing the left knee away. One more breath in this wonderful hip opening pose. And then release. And let's go over to the other side of the pose. So bring the right ankle to the left knee. And then hug that left knee in with both hands. And press the right knee away, opening up the hip, the outside of the hip on that right side. Let's find 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Release from there. Keep the feet off the mat. Bring the arms out to a T. Let the knees keep the knees together and let the knees travel over to the left. Try and keep the back of your right shoulder on the mat. And then inhale the knees back to center and over to the right side. And bring them back to center and over to the left. And back to center and over to the right. Now bring them back to center and let the knees move over to the left and land for our supine twist. And look towards your right hand. You can let your eyes close down here if you like. And let your whole body begin to settle in to this very mild supine twist. Now 1 more breath. Just let your knees float back to center and then over to the other side. So the knees move to the right. Look off toward your left hand. So the gaze is to the left. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Good. Now let the knees float back to center. Then bring the hands down by your side. Bring the feet down and then walk the feet back towards your glutes until you can brush your heels with your fingertips. Feet about hip width apart. And lift the hips up now into bridge pose. Maybe a little deeper bridge pose than you did at the beginning of our practice. 2 more breaths in bridge. Maybe deepening the back bend. And 1 final breath. And then release down. Once your tailbone lands, hug the knees into your chest. And if it feels good, you can bring your forehead towards your knees now, rounding forward. And then release the head to the mat. Release your hands from your knees. Reach your heels to the sky, legs up the wall pose. Press your tailbone down towards the mat. Press the sacrum into the mat. Press through the heels. Now point the toes just gently, not too much. Press your palms gently to the mat and keep the legs straight as you let the heels float all the way down to the mat. Take this time on this journey of the heels down to the mat to keep your attention on the abdominal muscles, noticing what that feels like. Noticing the engagement in the abdominal muscles. It increases as the heels float down to the mat. And then once your heels land, which mine just did, then bend your knees and rock to a seat. And once you're seated, find a cross-legged position. You can bring the palms to the knees if you like. Let your eyes close down if you want to. Feel the sitting bones resting on the mat. Now draw a deep breath in and then let it go. Do that a second time. A deep breath in, deeper than the last one. And let it go. Thank you so much. Bring your hands to heart center. Join me as we offer loving kindness. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe, be peaceful, and be at ease. Namaste.